to another edition of the Empower Hour. I am Alqamar.
And I'm Hanifah.
And we're your hosts each and every Wednesday, where we come to you with impactful topics of discussion that affect our everyday lives. This is a special edition of the Empower Hour. We're doing a 2-hour special tonight on relationships. As you can see, we have 11 of the best and brightest individuals in our community out tonight to share with us how they feel about relationships. The male-female dynamic. So we have individuals from all different age groups, all different backgrounds. Some are single, some are in relationships, some are married, some are divorced. So we're just going to hash it out and have a conversation tonight, but we need your help out there. So if you have questions, the social media family, shoot them on out to us. Hanifah's here with her trusted pad, and she's going to get all your questions out so we can, make this a whole community discussion.
Yeah. We're just going to say welcome to all our guests and just be comfortable. Be yourself, be honest. This is a conversation, it is not a debate, and it is not an argument. So we're sisters and brothers here, and welcome to our viewers as well.
Yes. So we're just going to start with one question, and as they answer this one question, we're going to go around the room and allow them just to introduce themselves so you'll know who it is that's talking. So the question is, one word to describe your experience with our relationships today in our community. We'll start on this end.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth, and one word to describe our relationships today or dating experiences would be enlightening.
Hi, everybody. This is Tiffany, and my one word is difficult.
My name is Koliyah, and my one word, an illusion.
My name is Darrin, and my one word is evolving.
I am only Afryae, and Darrin stole my word, evolving.
My name is Sudan, Muhammed, and my one word will be wounded.
Peace and blessings. My name is Wessitta, and I would say disappointing.
My name is Brandi, and my one word will be draining.
My name is Edward, and my one word will be dysfunctional.
My name is Demetrius, and my one word will be games.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's the start of this ever so interesting discussion. And I'm just going to throw it out there, and anybody can answer. Why do you think that our relationships are so challenging for so many of us today? Anybody? Anybody can start.
I'll start off. I would say they're challenging because people get into relationships for the wrong reasons. I think you may have one person that really is serious about it, and the other one is a game player.
Yeah, I was going to say people are just not honest about basically what she was saying about what they want. I know it's hard to be honest because sometimes if you're too honest, you're not going to get what you want, especially if you just want sex or something like that. But for the most part, people are just not honest on exactly what they want. If a woman wants to be married, she needs to say she wants to be married and draw that line in the sand, not try to change him or anything like that.
I would say speaking for the millennials, I would say it's kind of draining because we get into these things called situationships versus relationships. So people don't want to put a title on it, they just want a situation.
What I'm hearing was kind of going to be my input. I feel that there is a core to all of the things that have been said so far, and that especially for the millennials, they don't really have the example It's been broken for such a long time. And so I think there's a core issue that would speak to the game plan, the dishonesty, and all of that. So I'm kind of I'm not a surface dweller. You know, anything that happens, I always go, what's going on at the root? And I think for our community in particular, there is so much pain that is not being addressed on an individual level. So then when you are going to join forces with somebody, if you're in so much pain and you haven't unpacked that, how do you fuse? So that's where the representatives come in. That's where the game plan, the dishonesty. So I would say, long short of it was like, what's the core? You know, what are we dealing with? Are we healing those wounds? Are we unpacking it and really, really processing
That's a good point.
that pain?
Sister Sudan, you want to add to that?
You know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has a study guide called Self-Improvement, the basis for community development. How many of us are really wounded inside? We're wounded.
Everybody.
And so we're looking at everything from the outside. You need to fix yourself first.
Which is why I say it's so difficult, because there are so many different aspects that we have to think about when we're trying to get into a relationship, where we're not just thinking about ourselves, where we're then thinking about the others, to where it's like, where are we going with the relationships, you know, because it's not just you thinking about yourself and how you feel and wanting to move forward or whatever, but you have to also think of the other individual and why they may not want to, or what's holding them back with what, you know, you said with it's deeper. So that's what makes it difficult to me.
One of the problems that I have experienced is that we have to learn to take the other person out of the equation and solely work on yourself. Because all of the problems that we are dealing with are inherently within us. And since as a people that we've been programmed to look outside of ourselves, we then cannot solve the problem. That's why I say it's an illusion that just didn't start. This is something that we're going to have to go back 300 or 400 years and begin to discuss. Because when we understand that everybody is a genetically modified individual, we can then begin to have a real discussion.
I was just going to ask a question. How much, when I heard Baba say illusion, and I'm hearing like difficult and evolving, and you know, I heard the different words being thrown out. The first question that came to my mind, I want to put this to you guys. How much of our relationship issues are rooted in Eurocentricity? The idea that we are trying to fit a mold that is not made for us. We're trying to fit in there, but it's not for us. How much of that is adding to the difficulty or where we're finding ourselves in as it pertains to relationship?
Well, I feel like currently, I wouldn't say a lot of that is based more so on Eurocentricity, especially if you look at some of the younger age groups. I would say it's based on the kind of tainted perceptions and views of African Americans and African Americans within the community, like the social media portrayals and the media portrayals, and people kind of trying to live up to, keep up with, or think they have to fit into those molds because they're constantly being inundated with all these portrayals saying that this is how they're supposed to be. So.
Anyone else? Go ahead. I find that very interesting because I think you say the same thing. I think that that's right up in here. Excuse me. Okay. Here we go. I'm a jokester too. I feel like I'm so I'm going to crack jokes, but I think what you're saying is essentially the same thing, and I think the culture of what we see now today is not ours. It's never been ours. And so for us, there's always a constant reconciliation across the board for everything that we do. So when it comes to our union, we've been warped for a long time. You know, you think about romantic. We're not Roman. You understand what I'm saying? But then we see these images, and you had me at hello, and you make me whole. Like, what we've been saying is that you have to be whole to a certain degree before you can go and merge. And so that work is what I was speaking to about the core. You know what I'm saying? The core is that part before we're so tainted by another culture and have to adopt that culture that doesn't suit our rhythm. And so we're in constant conflict with that.
But then it seems, listening to your sister, it seems like we're fighting a losing battle then, because where is our culture to show us what it's supposed to be?
We exist as the culture. We just got to tap into that energy. We just got to tap into it. It's there. We have it, and we have long memory. It's in our DNA. Barbara talked about it a little bit earlier. We just have to go in there and get it and be very intentional.
Well, how do you explain that to the millennials?
Well, we're doing it now.
Make sure you project your voices.
That's why I say evolving, because I feel the dysfunction and I feel the wounds, but I'm actively working on it intentionally within myself so that it can evolve. And then when we have forums like this, it's just a ripple effect. So we're actively right now working on it for the millennials. Right now, as we work on ourselves, all right, because I'm supposed to have my few minutes.
Okay, so realistically, that's not the level that we operate on. Mm-hmm. People not looking at the wordplay like romance and the deeper meaning or the origin of these words. We're not looking. Yeah. Right. That's not what people are operating on. Why and I do believe that we are influenced by European influence. You know what they call love and what they call success, etc., etc. It doesn't work for us. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's not working. That's why when we look out there and we wonder why we're not happy, it's because we're using what they say happiness is, what they say success is. And as men, as women, because of the dysfunction and the hurt and the pain that we have going on, we could never use that as a comparison. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we have to understand that. A lot of us don't understand that. A lot of us are comparing our women are comparing the men to what white folks say is beauty, what white folks say is successful. From, the house you buy, the neighborhood, the schools, etc., etc.
You see, when you understand that, we're going to have to go all the way back to have an honest discussion to slavery and the making of us. See, everybody didn't understand when they read the Willie Lynch letters, when he said that I will create a woman that will create a male child that is mentally weak and physically strong. If you understand that, then you know that is genetically engineering, genetically modified engineering of a people. See, we're discussing, we talked about slavery, how we was programmed to not the light ones, not to like the black ones not to like the slave ones. We was breeded like cows and cattle. You hear what I'm saying? And Willie Lynch said, if you don't become conscious of it, it will last 1,000 years. Now, we're going to talk about relationship. Let's begin at the root and talk about how we're going to break this cycle of me looking at my woman like she's a piece of meat.
Yeah. So again, conveying, and everything that you're saying is true, is just conveying that to I'm gonna say women mainly, because a lot of women don't want to hear that conscious stuff. They don't want to hear nothing about history. I want to be married right now. So a lot of that. No, a lot of women don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that conscious Bible. They want to hear about right now. I want my ring. I want my house. I want my baby. I don't want to hear that. That's 1,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I want what I want. You know, because ain't nobody trying to sit down and even though what he said is 1,000% correct. We got to tap back into our history to really understand what all this is about. However, trying to talk to mainly the sisters about stuff like that, they not trying to hear.
Well, I would have to disagree with you on that. Because when we understand that we genetically are made up of one side feminine, one side masculine. You know what I'm saying? That this is part of the problem when we start pointing at one or the other. I cannot point at a woman and say something about a woman, then I'm going to dishonor that right side of me as well as the woman for which I slid between her legs.
Right.
Sure.
And this is not necessarily a disagreement with you, Baba. This is not necessarily a disagreement, but we have in our observation and our analyzation, we have to be real. And if you look at in our community, if we talk about don't point the finger, we have to point the finger. We have to point the finger at the reality of the power that women possess. Women possess way more power than black men. And if you discount that, then you're not being a realist. Black women say, we don't mess with boys that don't go to school. We don't mess with boys that don't pull their pants up. We don't mess with boys that don't read revolutionary literature. Guess what would happen?
You'll get it together.
Okay, but we can't point the finger at the woman to give her role and her responsibility to uplift us.
Okay, so if I can just speak to that. So I'm gonna probably carry this theme about the core throughout our discussion because I think it's so relevant that we really understand that idea of even thinking that you can approach one another and not be coming from a place of connectedness first. See, that goes back to that culture thing. See, us sun-kissed people, I want to give a shout out to my son, Selah, he coined that for me. Sun-kissed people, our nature is connectedness first. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? But again, because we are under an umbrella of a culture who thinks about individualism, uniqueness, and power-driven, then we're always trying to manage that. So that's why it's easy to say a woman has all of the power. If she would do A, B, C, and I agree with that. I know who we are, and I know everybody come to us. So yes, we have a lot of power, so I agree with you on that. But any work that I do on myself automatically affects you. So you, as my masculine, because we exist as both.
So I have a question because I'm hearing both sides, and I'm thinking of, and I hate to put this, but let's see, I'm going to use the example of a child. Mm-hmm. So you have a child, a black child, and we're looking at them, and in your mind, you know who that child can become. You know their potential, but that's not who they are right now. See, the reality is that the potential will not fix the now. Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing the brothers saying is, when they say let's be real, they're saying how do we undo this? Because what we're talking about a cure that for most folks is unreachable. Mm-hmm. The people that we're finding ourselves around, this is what, so I'm hearing, I agree with both sides, right. But I guess it's sort of like you said, if women don't want to hear this, how do we undo the damage? Is this something that isn't an individual journey? Because I hear that a lot, and I'm like, do we put this whole relation thing on pause? Because then we won't procreate, and then there will be, black people will just be dying out because they're killing us already. So do we put this on pause, or is this something that we can do together, men and women? Can we heal together? Can we grow together?
That's what I was.
I would like to ask you. I think I'm the only person in here over 70 years old.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm the only one that done lived through when black men was men. And when if I walked with my pants down, a guy, a brother, or a father didn't have to know me to slap me upside the back of my head and tell me, pull them pants up. You know what I'm saying? Daddy was the enforcer. Mama was the one that laid the foundation. See, we're gonna have to be real smart now. But most of all, we got to be truthful. Mm-hmm. We got to change our thinking from left to right and become a right to left thinking people. See, the European done taught us to do everything that's against universal order. The world moves, and the order of the creation moves right to left. And we got to talk about the mind that was given to us during that period of time. And that genetically modified means that every child that comes between our mother's legs come with that mind. You don't have no children. You produce yourself over and over and over. I tell everybody, I don't have 4 children, I have 4 of me. And whatever ain't right with them, or whatever is right with them, came up out of me.
Okay, so I'm hearing that, you know, we got to go back to the root, which I always am in agreements with. But how do we do that to heal? How do we get to the root of what's going on in order to circumvent what's happening and go another route? What does that look like?
If you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, the first thing you have to do you have to admit that I'm addicted. I'm an alcoholic. The black man in America has to admit you a coward. You say, I ain't no coward. The conditions say you a coward. When the police slam your woman on the head, you're going to pull your phone out to record it. This is the reality, not what you say with your words. The reality says you're a coward. No other man would allow the things to go on with his woman and not stand up and be willing to die. But the black man is going to make an excuse. The black man going to pick it, sing, try to align his chakras, but he ain't going to fight. He ain't going to stand up. He going to make every excuse why he shouldn't stand up and fight.
Well, why is that?
Cowardice, fear of white supremacy. You're afraid of the white man. You might say I'm not afraid of the white man, but there's no indicators in our history to say that you're not afraid. There's nothing that make you just jump out there and stand up and die for the cause. What a new Nat Turner at.
Everything I'm hearing is coming from the media. The perception that I'm hearing is what they're showing you on TV and movies or whatever. My perception is people are trying to heal themselves. And in order to heal themselves, they got to forgive themselves. It ain't always about forgiving a person who damaged you or whatever the case may be. Like you said, you got to realize where you're hurting at and that you have a problem.
Right.
But in order to heal, you're going to have to forgive yourself for doing the damage to yourself and then take up ways to heal yourself. The most basic way is eating right, because everything in your body is connected. When you eat right, your body functions properly. And the easiest example is if you eating natural food and your body's natural, you're going to operate on all cylinders. But if you're eating something fake or artificial, something's going to drop off or not work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna say to the coward thing, because I agree with what he said. For the most part, black men are cowards. However, being a soldier, you're not rewarded these days. It's like you're more rewarded being a coward than a soldier, because if you be a soldier and you die, you go to jail, or you kill, life go on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, nobody got your back. So society doesn't even like congratulate or reward a soldier anymore. They reward cowards. They reward the dude that do pull out the cell phone. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of giggling in the background. Nobody really, and I see videos like this, and I'm always saying to myself, like, I couldn't see. I just saw a video where a police officer punched the kid in his face. I'm like, I just couldn't see me being there and not me and that police officer rumbling. But then after we rumble, then what? You know what I'm saying? I mean, when I go to jail, do I ride in there? I mean, you know what happens. So I think that is why you see a lot of dudes out here that are cowards.
Can I ask something? I feel like for my age group, a lot of the guys are raised by single mothers, and their mothers baby them. So they're expecting for the woman that they meet to be their mother. We're not your mother. And furthermore, I feel like when they don't get a certain thing from one woman, they'll settle for a woman who's willing to give them that thing that they're looking for. Some women have really high standards, and when they can't meet those standards, they're like, all right, I'm gonna just find somebody else who can meet those lower standards.
Now, ask yourself what you just said. Where did that originate from?
The question was, where did that originate from? Her point.
I'm not sure. I just go off what I see for myself. So.
Did I just mention to you that Willingness said he will make a man, a woman, to create a man that will make you mentally weak, physically strong. And that's just what you said in another vernacular.
Yeah.
I do hear what everyone's saying, and I do acknowledge what everyone's saying. However, that wasn't my upbringing because my parents weren't born here. They didn't come here till the late 70s, early 80s. So culturally, my whole upbringing was totally different, and my mindset toward things like that were totally different. And my father always taught me and my brothers to understand where you're going professionally, spiritually, relationship-wise. You have to understand where you came from. You have to understand who you are. Because
where are you from?
Sierra Leone. So your inner self is naturally going to be drawn to what comes naturally to you, and you know where you come from. And I think if we going back to the relationships, try to focus on clearing out all this excess noise. That's why I said enlightening, because when I interact with people, it tells me a lot about what other people are going through mentally, and then them not knowing themselves. And it also tells me a lot about myself as well, as some of the people already stated. So I feel like, there's definitely a lot of work that needs to be done to really get to, like you said, to the core of who we are, to understand what we want, what we need.
I just want to say real quick, I represent the 50-plus club. And it's interesting, Hanifah, you said, should we put a pause on this thing, this relationship thing? And that really hit home for me, because that's exactly what I've done. I've had it. And to the point where, and no, I'm not gay. Let me state that for the record. I am strictly. Y'all know what the rest is.
No, we don't.
Think about it. I'm just drained. And it's sad because I feel I'm letting my daughter and them down. Because if I'm drained and I've cut off, mentally, how can I assist them with their journey? And we're always talking about the younger generation should look at us to set the example. So I feel like I'm between a rock and a hard place, you know. Then another thing I'm in a rock and a hard place is I'm finding other races truly interested in me.
Don't do it.
But my DNA yearns for a black man. I'm unapologetic in saying that. I yearn for a black man. But
Get into that.
You know.
We definitely want to get into that.
okay, yeah, so I just wanted to just share that what Hanifah was saying. There are sisters out here who have put a pause on it.
Sister Sudan, did you want to add?
I just want to say this. I have been reading this article. I've been reading this article for 3 days that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wrote in the final corners about healing the wounds. And he said in order to heal the wounds, he mentioned to settle your differences. We need to settle our differences because I'm hearing a lot of pain within ourselves. See, when people start talking, I listen. That person's in a lot of pain. And we have to be honest and say, I'm hurt, I've been hurt, I don't trust anybody. Because we're really looking in the mirror at ourselves. You know, we just really need, like you said, we need to be honest. And I don't want to keep talking, but when I started working on myself, I didn't want to get in a relationship. I had a relationship with God. I didn't want nobody. I started praying, reading, studying, and that's how I found my husband. And by God's grace, we've been married for 21 years, and it's still working on. You know,
If I could just say, this is real quick, I ain't gonna say enough of this. But what you were saying, that last part you said was going to be my comment if I were to speak again. And it's, you know, you really do attract what you are. So if you can tell me, well, ain't no women out here doing such and such, and ain't no black men out here doing such and such, and you keep running into that, the only thing that's constant is you. So I get that it might not fix it right now, but right now what we do have and what we always have, you know what I'm saying? We always got a choice. And all of us can make the conscious choice to do exactly what she just said. Don't wait for a woman to do it if you're a man. Don't wait for a man to do it if you're a woman. This is a state of emergency. So we can't keep on waiting on somebody outside of us or something outside of us to do this work. These our folks. We are raising children who have absolutely no idea. Why? Because we don't have an idea. And I only say we because I always want to speak to the collective. You know, I want to include everybody. But me, myself, like I said in the beginning, I've made the choice. So whatever I'm doing, the mate that I'm going to attract, the companion that's going to walk with me, whether or not I'm all together or not, he's still going to be on the waiting list of doing the work that I'm doing. Or I won't even attract them. So you got to be mindful that work, I said it's going to be short. You got to be mindful that work that you do or choose not to do on yourself is still the law of attraction. So if you're fed up and you keep on getting the same thing, you got to check you. Because everybody in the world can be messed up and you good.
thank you.
But that brings into okay, yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I did. Wessitta brought up a point about, other races. How do you guys feel about finding love outside of our community?
Absolutely not.
Brother Ed?
I need a white woman like a fish need a raincoat.
Please elaborate. Wait, please elaborate.
Cut his mic off.
Well, I just look at nature. A red ant is not going to be with a black ant. Both of them ants. A grizzly bear is not going to be with a polar bear. Both of them bears. A goldfish is not going to be with a piranha because the piranha going to eat the goldfish. But both of them are fish. So I just think that the black woman is created by God for me. The way she built, I can hug her and just rest my hand. She built for me. She smelled good and everything. I don't need no white woman smelling like bologna.
Go ahead.
Oh gosh.
And yeah, I'd like to say the sister was talking about the law of attraction. Well, I consider myself, I've done that research on myself. I've healed myself, and I've even forgiven the brothers that may have hurt me. So I've gone through that process. So my law of attraction now is attracting other brothers from other races. Because see, these brothers I tend to have a decent conversation with. These are brothers that I am able to, I like to do things that, like I like to go fishing, I like hiking. Not saying that black men don't do that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that attraction, that law of attraction, you keep saying to go to the core. Well, I'm confident and secure. I've gone to the core. And I have a lot of love to offer a male. And I'm going to disagree with you, Brother Edward. I just think that love has no color. And I'm going to say it again, unapologetically. Love has no color. If another race comes to me and we are attracted on all levels, and he treats me like the queen that I should and feel that I am, then I'm going to say this, and I don't care if I lose my friends. I don't care if I lose my friends. I'm not going to pass up love, somebody to cherish me, because he may not be a black man. That's how I feel. That's not saying that I don't love black people. That's not saying I'm not honoring my ancestors. What I'm saying is this. I'm for anybody that's for humanity. I'm for anybody that's for genuine love. And I'm for anybody that's going to respect me, care for me, provide for me, work with me as a team, no matter what color he may be.
That's interesting, because earlier in your comment you was like, I'm looking for a black man.
I said no. I said I desire a black man. That's what she. I desire a black man.
And now you just take whatever you can get.
No, it's not taking whatever I get. I'm taking what's compatible to me as the woman I am and the queen that I am.
She said she desires a black man, but she said other races are attracted to her.
Yes, right. Yes. I desire a black.
Yes.
I am open. Yes.
Oh, I see that.
I am open. I mean, I would like a black man, but if another man come to me on this journey called life, and we meet mentally, physically, spiritually, you know, or if we're on the same level, why should I pass up love and happiness because he's not black?
But is that okay? I have a question. I have a statement. I know this will rile everybody up. Thank you, Wessitta.
Thank you. And I'm honest. Yeah, and I'm keeping it real.
We know you are, sis.
May I have something to say?
Everybody wants something to say.
Okay, I have some.
Go ahead.
Is it okay? So right. Okay. So I totally disagree with interracial relationships. Now, if you allow yourself to love somebody, you know, you open yourself up, I think you can love anybody. You know what I'm saying? However, it's brothers obviously that like to fish and hike and do different things like that. We just not in that space to do those type of things or have that mindset. And I think that when we go back to the European way of thinking, it's like, brothers, we're not even there to even think about hiking and riding bikes and doing those type of things because of the other things that we're going through. So that's the part that I don't like that people do when they compare white women to black women and black men to white men. White men have had the luxury to walk around life a particular way. So when they come to you with hat in hand and how's your day and this and that. And the same way with a white woman. It would be unfair for me to compare a white woman to a black woman because they have not been through the same thing. I told one of my white coworkers one time that she came to work in a very loose outfit. It's the type of job I was working in a group home, so we kind of could dress a little down. And I explained to her what she had on, that a black woman couldn't just indiscriminately walk around looking like that and not possibly be disrespected. It's a strong possibility. So again, and it's a strong possibility that black woman may cuss that person out that disrespects her, and then that person will be like, oh, see, black women, see how y'all act? No, it's because you disrespected her. So we make these unfair comparisons between black women and white women, and then we say, oh, but that's why I'm with a white woman. No, that white woman has certain luxuries in life where she could be happy every day and cook you dinner and you know, like Malcolm. Didn't Malcolm get her to kiss his feet or something? You know, play those games. You know, these in the movie. I don't know if it happened in real life. There's a sister over there saying, well, hold on. No, I'm just messing. But so I'm just saying we have to be careful when it comes to the interracial talk. I understand it, but I just don't like how, you know, black men do it. We compare black. We can't. That's unfair. A white woman has not been called bitch, and through music and through culture and the things that black women been through to make her the way she is. You know, that's why she's like. If she's angry, this is why she's angry. And if she lash out at you, this is why she lash out at you, and vice versa.
Okay, so one of the things, that definitely one of the outcomes I would like to see from this discussion is some solutions. So what I'm hearing, how many people here, because Wessitta just put something out there, where she has her solution for herself, not the entire black race.
And I understand.
Wessitta,
absolutely.
Okay?
I think we're about to lose our means of what we need to do to discuss the situation within us.
Okay, 1 minute, Baba. Give me 1 minute, Baba. So, how many people here feels that interracial dating is a solution to the relationship problems? How many people here? Just raise your hand.
I don't.
We can't say it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many people here, all right, feels that since we cannot, the situation that Wessitta finds, let me give the example as a woman. As a woman, do you guys feel that it's okay if I'm finding myself being unfortunate in trying to do relationship with black men? Do you think it's a good idea probably for me to maybe start dating interracially and encouraging other black women to do so? Because there are black women out there that's not just doing it, they have a platform that is encouraging other sisters to do so. How many of you guys agree with that? Just raise your hand.
I would like to, first of all, I would like to ask, is there anybody here other than me that have been married to a white woman?
No.
Then you're not really able to answer that question.
I disagree with that.
No, because that's your perception. That's not reality. You see, let me tell you something. I've been married 5 times.
All right, go ahead.
And one of the problems of us as a people, we are highly opinionated on reality that don't exist. Let's get the facts, the truth, the knowledge, then make an opinion. See, we are talking about what we always are so quick to say what we think, not what we know based in facts and truth.
Well,
we got to stop that as a people.
Well,
now, let me finish what I'm going to say, then you can go on to whatever you say. My first 2 wives were white.
Okay.
Because I was young and out after the forbidden fruit.
Speak, talk about it, Bible.
Let's be truthful now. Okay. My 3rd wife was light and damn near white, but she was black. My 4th wife, her color. 35 years. 35 years. So I got children that are mixed, and I got children that are whole. And my last wife,
you went back home.
That ain't about black
That's
owned.
exactly what a lot of sisters would say, but go ahead, Baba. Exactly
You know what I'm
just
saying?
said.
Everything. You see, I met in women according to that they came into the space of where I was mentally.
Got you.
You understand what I'm saying? At 19, I was being led by the other head that a lot of black men don't ever grow out of.
You got that right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't think up here when all your blood down here. And we walk around, I'm sitting here talking to a bunch of men my age, hell, and they couldn't even talk to me. For every young woman went past their neck. So that showed me, when are you going to grow up? When are you going to grow up? And my life, my last wife that I'm with now, that I've been with for 15 years, is 35 years younger than me. Again, it's about a mentality. We want to go everywhere but address the mindset that we're dealing with that's our enemy. That's the real enemy. That's why we can't cooperate and have relationships with one another right. Because the mindset that we bring into the relationship. And we want to judge everybody. The sister asked me the other day, she said, what's the difference between the black woman and the white woman? I said, one got more melon and one got less melon.
But they're both women.
But they're both women.
Are we moving on or?
Yes.
Okay,
No, I mean, if you have something to say, then we want to move on.
Yeah, because I mean, being married to a white woman and dating a white woman, I guess you're right. I've never did it either, but you know, I guess we're saying as far as when we consider dating, you know, the opposite race. I'm just saying that I don't think it'll work because it hasn't worked. You know, we try to, and I personally don't think interracial relationships work. Whenever I see interracial relationship, I say that's not gonna work. At some point, they're going to get a divorce. We just don't know the statistics. But I just don't. The few situations I know of, it doesn't work. My thing with interracial relationships is we're talking about healing and all of that. You can't heal with a white woman because you can't. Once you marry that white woman or you marry that white man, you can't deal with your blackness the same way you can when you with a black person. You can't deal with, you know. That's right. So that's the thing about interracial relationships I have a problem with, is because we're running in most cases to the opposite race because of what we're going through with ourselves, like the sister was saying, as well as with black men. You know what I'm saying? Or black women, you know, whoever, you know, if you're a man, black women, if you're a woman, black men.
I just want to add to this point with a peer review study. It says 18% of blacks were married to someone of another race. It was the highest increase of any other ethnic group. So we're going outside of our relationships more and more and more. Asians and Hispanics average 28%, but we are the highest growing number in all ethnic groups.
Can I just add one more thing? I keep saying that. Okay, so I'm always on my cool. So what I hear is a defeatist attitude. I haven't been able to make it work. I haven't been able to make it work over here, and I've been trying for so long, so I'm just going to go by, you know, I'm just going to get something. And so it's that same thing about, it is our nature to think collectively. Our will can be something else. The will is really saturated, again, by socialization and culture. So you can say all day long, I can do what I want to do with my life. It ain't got nothing to do with you, woo, woo, woo. It will affect me. Why? Because we're connected. We're connected. Does not matter, we're connected. And so at some point, we will hit. And your idea of, I just got to live individually, what's going to make me happy alone, I got to make a decision based on that. I can't really worry about
everything that everybody else is doing, or I can't really be concerned with the collective. When I say it's a state of emergency, our children out here dying, they have absolutely no. So you have a responsibility. The sister said earlier about the example she wanted to set for her daughters, you know, and no better example can we set for any of our children if we don't show them the value of who they are. You understand? We have, Bible talked about slavery for 400 years and so forth and so on, and you know, us being genetically modified and all of those things. We still here, y'all. We resilient as a mug. And so if we wanna they, like Hanifah said, they killing us, y'all. You know, but everything that they try to do, we still exist. We sitting here in a circle right now, still working on it. So if you want to have an attitude where you know, it's over for us, we can't do nothing else about it, maybe you do need to go to the other team, because I really don't need, I need the people on my team that understand, you know, the effect that my personal decisions will have on us as a collective.
Okay, so let me just say this, because I want to shift a little bit, okay? Because this interracial thing, we're gonna be here all night about this. But Wessitta, I know that you wanted to. It sounds like you want to make something clear, because you were shaking your head. No, that's not what I'm saying. So I'm gonna let Wessitta go, and then I'm gonna put another question to the group, please.
Okay. What I want to make very, very clear and state for the record, I'm a black woman from the creation of God. No matter who I am with, does not take anything away from my blackness. I have done more for my race than I've known some people, 20 of them together, have not done for our race. I have paid my dues. I have done my time. I have taken care of my community. I have raised not only my daughter, but other people's children as well. And I did it with a black mentality, a black heart, and a black soul, and black money. That's right. Okay? So no matter who I'm with, it has nothing to do with me turning my back on my roots. And if I'm with a white man so that the Creator see fit to cross my path and he treats me like this queen, he too will join in my struggle, because that's how I'm going to be with him. He will know my struggle up front, and we join together because we're compatible. Because we're compatible, and because he may have other avenues to provide more, that means more for my community. So this is how I see things. That a white man can't change the warrior in me. A white man can't take away my blackness as a black queen created by God.
See, first of all, I don't believe you need to apologize for anything. You can go ahead on and do. You don't owe nobody no apology.
But I wanted to
you be strong enough. See, I'm at the point now that I came all the way from Israel without no teeth. Because I don't give a hoot. I'm true to me, and you be true to you.
Yeah, but what
and you don't stop defending yourself right now.
No.
Don't be quiet.
That's why I want to move on from this question.
Be quiet. Don't open your mouth to say nothing. You feel good about yourself, whatever you do. You feel good. Don't you apologize.
I feel good and I'm unapologetic, but
it's over there. It's over there.
But what I'm saying is, we have viewers watching.
How about you gotta let us speak?
We have viewers watching, and viewers need to see it all. That's the purpose of this show, correct?
That's
the purpose
fine.
of this show. That everybody gets to talk, share their opinions, and somebody may on the outside be in the same boat that I'm in. Yes, and absolutely. I want them to know that they are okay.
The conversation has to be
had.
They
are okay.
Yeah.
They are okay.
So, moving on, one of I want to put this to the group, and I specifically want to hear from the millennials, because I'm finding the younger people, they are not discussing this that much. Seems like they don't really care for it. Yet, Demetrius started off talking about this is what women want. And I'm like, which woman exactly? So my question to you group is marriage. How important is marriage for us, how important it is for us as far as progressing as Black people. Is it important or is it not? Go ahead.
I would say marriage is definitely important. I think that should be the goal when you're in a relationship, is to ultimately, be married. But like I said before, people don't want titles. They want to be in situations versus relationships, working to be married and things like that. So, yeah, I think marriage is definitely important.
Yeah, I think that a lot of men that are not married or have been married are now feeling like marriage benefits the woman more, so are kind of staying away from it because people have got a little bit more freely sexually. People are even exploring alternative ways of being in relationships, polygamy, and things of that. So it's another one, but I can't even pronounce it.
Polyamorous.
Polyamorous.
That's where there's 3 people involved in the
right. So people are now exploring. Yeah, people are exploring different ways of being in relationships. So, and I think that is affecting the way people are looking at marriage. But men in particular, especially if you're old, I'm 41, I kind of just like, looking at it like looking at people who've been married, divorced, and just kind of like, you know what, I'm going to stay away from that situation because it benefits the woman in a lot of cases. When you get married, a lot of times the woman doesn't do what she did when you was dating. And to be honest with you, a lot of times the dude isn't either. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is the agreement that we made, nobody is keeping that agreement once they get married. And I think the cat is out the bag with that. So a lot of people are just deciding to be habitual daters, especially with social media and things like that, where you can go on different websites and you can just date whoever you want to at a click of a button.
Does anybody else agree with him?
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I like that thing, habitual daters, because I think that is a thing. I think when it comes to marriage, I think some people, like he stated, are just scared to do it. And yeah, you'd rather just date and just do whatever, because the relationships that you do see do deter you from even wanting to be in that, because relationships don't even seem to be real anymore. And that's, what it is. So it is scary, and it is something that you may not even want to even go that far to even think. It's just, let's just be, you hear that, let's just be together. In my opinion, I don't discredit marriage. I think it takes a lot of work. I'm married, and it's just, all marriages don't end up the way that you expect them to. But in that sense, it makes you look at relationships just differently. And I wouldn't, again, discredit marriage, but I would just say that before you go into it, just be real across the board, so that it isn't an habitual relationship that you're just flowing in, where it's going anywhere. I agree a little bit with what you said, Demetrius, in reference to that it can seem to be just for the woman, or it's just all about her, but that's a problem. I don't think that that's something that should be okay when it is something that you even agree to be married. So I guess then stay single or be in a habitual relationship. But I wouldn't just totally discredit marriage altogether.
Can I?
Yes.
Can I say?
Anybody else?
No, yeah, I don't want to hold them.
Yeah.
Like Darrin?
Yeah.
This had something to say right here.
I feel I'm not opposed to marriage. I'm 37. I don't have kids either. And people assume because I'm 37 with no kids, I'm opposed to marriage and children. But I just feel like as far as relationships go, there has to be some give and take. A lot of people, again, I just go back to these perception versus reality. They have these very convoluted perceptions. I said deception, but Freudian slip. Yeah. About relationships in general, with as far as everything being hunky-dory and not having to work, but realistically, if you really look at it, habitual dating is work, and I feel like it's a lot more work than actually, being with someone that's possibly your soulmate. But I feel like the key word there is your soulmate. Not marrying for money, not marrying for convenience, not marrying for security, not marrying because everyone says this is what I'm supposed to do at this particular age. I know people that have gotten married very young, and they've been together 70 years. They've had their ups and downs, but that's life. I know people that have gotten married at age 65 for the first time. And, my godmother, and when I talked to her, I was like, I asked her, like, well, what do you think? And she was like, I found my soulmate. So I knew that, this was it.
I wanted to say something about this. The question was about millennials getting married. So,
Marriage in general.
okay, we can go that route with it. So here it is. Everything's connected. I hear a lot of the child getting out of my house at 18. You see kids going to college, children going to college. You can't even get jobs and all that. So that marriage is real when you're trying to make it. So a lot of people want to say picket fence, nice house, nice car, and all that other stuff. But people are doing things to survive. So it's real. So we want to make the story nice and fluffy and all that, but we're still not addressing what a relationship is. And
what is
the core? Loving yourself first, marrying yourself first. If you can't marry yourself, you can't marry nobody else.
That's the only person you can marry is yourself.
That's it.
You can't marry nobody else. See, so I teach my wife one thing. Love yourself. Appreciate yourself. Honor yourself. Be good to yourself. Then come and share that with me. But marriage is a lie. And it ain't no truth in it. If you haven't married yourself and the wholeness of yourself first. Because other than that, you're bringing all the garbage, the problems, the lies, the untruth, the cheating, the wrong perceptions that create your delusion into a relationship and wondering why it ain't working. And I'm sitting here looking at a relationship of a marriage, and we don't want off talking about the subject we came to talk about. We're about to get hung up in this relationship between black and white, and not discussing what's going on between black and black. You see what I'm saying? Because when you get into a marriage, you got to marry that feminine side of your head with the masculine side of your head first. That's what a real marriage takes care of. The feminine right side and the masculine left side. If you can't put them two together, it's a lie thinking you can put anything else together.
So, I agree with everything you just said, Barbara, and thank you so much for sharing that so passionately with us. How much of it is foolish pride and ego? So I'm hearing you say we got to merge us, we got to be married to ourselves, we got to work on who we are, we got to build up our own person before we can conjoin that with somebody else healthy, to be healthy and whole. So how much is what we're doing out here now related to the ego? Nobody wants to take the responsibility to do that because we're looking at everybody else as the problem.
Yeah, true. How many of us around this table can say, I'm the problem?
That'd be the first thought.
That'd be the first thought. Because if you get into admitting that you're the problem, then you ain't gonna go no place else because you're gonna be tied up for the rest of your life.
It's amazing when you said something about the ego. My husband and I were talking about killing our egos. We have to murder our egos because people appear like they secure, they strong, but you're not. You're really broken up. Me and my husband talk. Look, I need a date. I need some time with you. Forget everybody else. I'm feeling vulnerable right now, and I need you. I need you to stop what you're doing, hang up the phone, take a day off, and I need you to take me somewhere. Number two, I decided my husband, I know he can't make me happy, I can't make him happy. I'm doing my work. See, happiness comes from within out, not from out in. See, we got it all twisted.
That's that work again, sis. That's what I've been saying.
Sometimes I don't want to be with anybody. I don't want to be with my children, my husband. I need to just get quiet. I need to talk to God. I don't want to hear anything. I just need sometimes, I just go sip out of water. I need to be with God. I don't want to be with anybody outside of me right now. How many of us are honest? We can say that. I need to sometimes take me to a hotel. I want to be in a hotel room by myself. I'm not doing nothing. And my husband does it. I need to get away. Go ahead. He had flew and went out of the country. But we trust each other. I'm not looking at his phone and checking because grandmom said whatever goes through the wash always comes out clean. You ain't have to look for nothing. Number two, I'm going to say this. We always said this, man, my husband, my grandmother used to say this. If your conscience won't condemn you, neither will I. If your conscience won't condemn you, neither will I. So I don't have to do that. I don't look for nothing because I'm so busy working on myself. I don't care what nobody doing, who's sleeping with who. I don't even run after my children. I don't look on their page. I don't do none of that. Live a life of principle. That's what I believe.
Be the change you wish to see.
That's right.
Demetrius.
Okay, so when you get married, okay, granted I've never been married. I just want to put that out there. But at 22, your perception is different as far as marriage. It's just hypothetical. You know what I'm saying? The things that you want, the things that you know, the ability to make a relationship last. You know, then you get so you say you don't get married and then you're in your 30s or your 40s. Now your perception is, or it's kind of, it might be unrealistic. You might be too, you have too much pain, too much hurt going on, which also doesn't allow you to get married and, make it work. So it's like, where do you find that place or that information at an early age to where you don't get to a place where you bitter or, burnt out or whatever and could possibly be married? Because I think those are the two parallels. You get married too young. You don't really know much about relationships in life, and you go through a lot of turmoil. You may stay married because that's the thing about our parents who were married 70 years. Grandma don't say what really went on for real. You know what I'm saying? We were just stuck together because of the times that we come up in, and we just made it work. But now, that's not the way it's set up. People roll out now if it's not working out. So now we have to kind of have the conversation about marriage in a different way to young people as well as people that are older. And I'm gonna end it with this. I did have an older sister tell me she had got married at like 62, and her husband, he had died, but they were around the same age. But she was saying that, that's a great time to get married for him because he done all this planning. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay. And hearing it from a woman, I was like, okay, I guess that's a perspective, of waiting to get older. But I would also take away from you both had your experience, and you shouldn't be arguing. You shouldn't be going through the things that you probably would be if you got married in your 20s or your 40s or whatever.
Let me go back to my fact sheet. Fun facts. Statistics show that those who marry between ages 28 and 32 split up the least.
28, 32?
And if those who date for at least 3 months indicates the start of something strong. They will usually last for at least 4 years. So if you can get through, I guess they're saying, in today's time, if you're finding somebody and you like them or whatever, and in a week or 2 or 3, and you find that you're not interested, but if you are still connected after 3 months, the likelihood of you guys going even further is a lot stronger.
And it's interesting because this is my own statistic, but that statistic debunks what I say. And I think that 27 for women, 27 to about 34 is that sweet spot as far as getting married. Because you've been through a little bit of life, but you ain't completely, burnt out yet. So I looked at it. I mean, not to say that that statistic is wrong.
It's just a peer review.
Yeah. I'm not saying that that's wrong and I'm right. I just looked at it there. I looked at 27 between 27 and 28 is just that sweet spot. When you, like I said, if you get married at 27, you lived a little life. You went to college, you traveled, things like that. You're 27. At 34, you had a little bit more life. You might not have children yet, so you and your husband could still have children together. So you're not in that you're not in the age as a woman where you feel like the complications of getting pregnant at a later age. So I always looked at it as a sweet spot, but they're saying different.
I have a question. So do you guys think that because we're talking about solutions? I know in the beginning, Brother Edward, you pointed out that we have the power as women to change the dynamics. That's one of the. You're saying if a woman can pretty much acknowledge that, we can begin to start doing the work. And you're saying it's not necessarily blame; it's a reality because we hold a lot of power. What about is arranged marriages? Y'all looking at me like nah. No, I'm just saying because really no. I'm really asking this because I find that we tend to stay out of young people's dating experiences and relationship. Is that wise? Are we doing this wrong? Should arranged marriages, and when I say arranged, please don't think of 2 Indian people. I'm sorry, no offense to anyone, but you never seen them, not like that. I'm saying not that brother from that family.
Right.
That's what I mean. When I say arranged, please think outside the box. I'm not saying you've never seen this person in your life. Should that be something that we need to explore as Black people as far as it pertains to the progression of our relationships?
For me and my daughter, this is my daughter right here. For me and my daughter, I do that now.
Okay.
I make it a point because I started praying for her mate when she was born. I started going to the Creator and things that I've gone through, I've asked the Creator, if possible, that I've bared that, whatever it was, and that she don't have to do the same. I have not dated a lot because I was a single mother, but that was my choice not to date because so many of her friends, their mothers every 3 months had a boyfriend. And I didn't agree with that. But then again, by me not having a mate, did that do damage as well? That's why I said in the very beginning, sometimes I feel like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. But I never regret that it was just mostly she and I that when she was growing up, because I don't look good in orange. Y'all know what I'm saying? And so this is my one and only. She's grown now. When she travels, what do I say? Wherever she's going, the male on the other end that's going to be receiving her at another state she's going to visit, I make it clear that this is my one and only. And I've also shared with her as she was coming up what I, as a mother, a Black mother, don't want you to date. So she knew what not to bring home. So Hanifah, I think any parent can give those. Now, true, at the end of the day, they're grown, they're going to do what they want to do. Let's keep this real. But I want her to at least know she has a loving mother, a caring mother, a praying mother. and I only want the best for her to procreate, to make stronger generations, because I consider myself a generational curse breaker. So I want to make sure that what I endured, that she don't have to endure if possible.
You know, one thing that we don't teach young males is that universally in the manipulation, the genetic manipulation of us as a people, we were locked in the third dimension. And the third dimension is your 3 bottom chakras. And those 3 bottom chakras operate in 3 emotions. The root, emotional fear. The sacral, the emotional of guilt. The third, the emotional of anger. And that's what the whole world is, not just us as the black people. The whole world is locked into the third dimension. And you hear them talking about the third dimension. We have to break through the third dimension to get to the fourth dimension, which is the heart chakra, where you will find love, forgiveness, compassion, and self-esteem. So when you talk about addressing relationships and marriages and problems, we got to get to the level of where we can address them. And that's in the fourth dimension of love, forgiveness, compassion. You know what I'm saying? So we, as a people, and our perception, our illusion, is what's controlling us and deceiving us. And we are afraid to really sit down and have an honest discussion. Because I've seen us tonight jump off the walls and not really get into the meat of the problems of how we have been created. And until we are ready to discuss the problem of how we as a people have been created and genetically engineered, we ain't gonna solve nothing. Because we're going to find a distraction to talk about.
Go ahead,
I'm a student of history, and I'm a student of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And she says that white supremacy affects every sphere of people's endeavor: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And Dr. Frances Cress Welsing says the most revolutionary thing that we can do is engage in black love. A black man and a black woman. That's the most revolutionary thing you can do, because everything in the society makes the black man a nigger and the black woman a bitch. So the most revolutionary thing you can do is understanding that and fighting against it and sticking with your partner.
Can I add to that? Back to the question about, I don't know, somebody mentioned ego a little bit earlier. And that acronym for me, it's a little funny and it's corny, but I always think about it as edging God out, right? And when I say God out, again, I don't mean something so far away from me. I'm talking about the thing that I am personified as, because if you are created, then you are a creator. So I'm not talking about reaching for something that I can't access within myself. It is here. Right. And so putting that ego in perspective, and then understanding some of the things that Baba said about the chakras, and if you move the ego to the side, we need it sometimes. Sometimes it's useful. You need that on your tool belt. But if we could just scoot it over a little bit, then that fourth dimension, black women and men, will have compassion and empathy for one another, and then we become refuge for each other. So back to your question about solution. I am a strong believer that we're doing it. See, we don't need to be thinking about this big, glamorous, elaborate, because when they genetically modified and created what we dealing with now, it wasn't no big thing, big boom. They did it subtle, little. So we are actively right now in this moment chipping away. This is a solution. Let's have more conversations like that. when we leave one another, go and have some more conversations about this. Y'all want to sit down and talk about scandal? Everybody be making a point to make sure they, girl, power coming on. And I love Power, don't get it twisted. My beloved, and now we watch it all the time. But if we can schedule that kind of time, or we want to go do a girls trip, we want to go to Vegas, get your girlfriends together to talk about why their marriages are failing, and see how we can fellowship and support each other in the real stuff that's happening. Because we in a state of emergency, y'all. This is not something we can keep on pushing over to the side. That pain that is, so everybody in here, even if it wasn't your pain, because I heard you say you had a really good upbringing. You know a few people. You got a few friends that did. You know, so even if it wasn't necessarily your experience and you were fortunate enough to grow up in a household when you saw a black woman and a black man making it happen, having some stick together, you know, stick to itness, and really be able to support each other through the hard times and then the good times and just polish each other. Ain't none of us in here perfect. Nobody's coming together with everything mastered. I can say that open-heartedly because then I've just pushed that ego to the side and I can be vulnerable. I can say, I don't have it all together. But brother, can you still walk with me and together we can work, help each other, work and get better and stronger? Because when we start talking about those 70-year-old marriages, that's what they did. They didn't always talk about it. They didn't have to be so formal. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm just going.
No, it's okay.
They didn't have to be so formal, but they did it. So even if we just sit at the foot of our elders who did that,
that's right.
That's part of the work. It ain't got to be no big old huge thing now. We got a center. We might eventually get to building some brick and mortar where we can have a space where people come together just like we here now. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be that extravagant. We can start right this second. Right this second. And I do trust and believe. That's why my word was evolving. No, we don't have it all together. Yeah, we go through some hard times, but we in here to win it. You know how people talk about the ride or die? I'm riding and living.
So sis, what I'm going to do, let Sister Sudan speak, and Demetrius, you're acting with Sister Sudan. Hey, guys, make your comments brief because we're about to start wrapping up in a few.
I just want to say that he made a point about the third chakra. See, I was marinated in a womb that was guilty. Mm-hmm. So I felt guilty. So I had 5 daughters. So my oldest daughter, when she started learning about herself, I made her feel guilty because I didn't realize I was guilty. And I can hear guilt from other people because I recognize myself. So now, as you said, the 4th dimension, I talk about love and compassion all the time. So now I'm a different mother to my daughters who's learning and they trying to find their way. And I said, if you make a mistake, walk with your head up. Forgive yourself. We all made mistakes. And when we get to that point of the 4th dimension, I don't think we're here yet. Some of us, we know we're going to get there. I'm just saying, you know, it says in the Quran, Allah made some of us to excel others. Not trying to be smart, but come on, girl, forgive yourself. Let's be more, yes, if we're more compassionate towards each other, I think you will have more people in the church, more people in the mosque, more people everywhere when we learn how to forgive ourselves and be more loving, lovable, compassionate, kind, understanding, and every movement. Understanding. Okay.
So to arrange marriages, of course, originally I thought you was talking about that. Right. Right, because I have a coworker that's Indian actually, and he had arranged marriage. I would say that, like Wessitta was saying, what she tells her daughter, but mothers don't tell their sons anything, you know, about really how to, you know, this is the type of woman you should get. Even telling that woman that he's dating, listen, this is my only son, and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So that when we raise our sons, you know, whether it's single mothers, because I don't like that term personally, but whether it's single mothers, they ain't telling their sons anything about dealing with women. And you know what I'm saying? they're not telling them anything. And another thing too that I tell I guess young people that's in college. College is probably the last place where it's gonna be a bunch of men and women that are trying to do something positive. Black men, black women, if you went to HBCU. So I think that's a great opportunity to find a mate, or at least maybe connect with somebody for the long term, even if it's just friendship. Maybe 5-10 years down the road, you guys will decide to get married. So I kind of look at that as an arranged situation where you're in an environment where you can meet different people. Is college, and I call her my daughter. She's with a friend of mine. Her daughter's at Spelman, and they did a thing where they brought the Spelman girls together with the Morehouse boys. You know what I mean? So that's somewhat of an arrangement where it gives an opportunity where they can, meet. Don't necessarily mean we're going to get married, but gives them a atmosphere that's positive. We're all on the same page. We're in college, and we can meet. And it's chaperone. Right. So I think an arranged situation can work. The sister right here, if the sister can even speak on in Islam, because somebody invited me to a mosque one time, and I seen a girl, and I was like, man, what's up with that? And the brother was like, you can't just come up in here and holler at women like this. You got to go in the chaperone. I'm like, wait a minute, you got to do what? I don't want to come back here no more. So, but that's an arranged situation in a sense, because it's being supervised. So we do need situations like that where relationships are being monitored and supervised in a sense. So that's it.
My sister, may I say something? I'm at an age now where everything that you are talking about, I don't live. Because what you talk about with arranged marriage was Big Mama. Everybody had to bring their man or their woman to Big Mama. Because Big Mama lived close to the earth.
Absolutely.
Big Mama had an energy and a sensitivity that she could see you like a radar.
That's right.
And when you was brought before Big Mama, when he walked away, Big Mama tell you, he's all right, or leave him alone. And you didn't have no choice.
Nope.
You see, you didn't come up like me, because my mother told me everything that I needed to know about a woman. See, because I came up in the generation when men had to cook, wash, clean, iron, you name it. Because she said, I never want you to be a victim of no woman. Because she taught me. See, this is something that I done live. Y'all ain't lived this.
But you grew up in the generation where mothers wasn't necessarily, mothers kind of like raised their sons and to kind of like be the man that they wish they had in a sense.
No, you're missing what I'm saying.
Yeah, they do.
Listen.
Now you're talking about now?
Yeah, now.
Oh, currently.
Currently what you're talking about.
Yeah, currently.
But I had, you see, when I was a young man, it was 85 to 90% families.
Absolutely.
One divorce was something, when you read a divorce in the paper, you automatically knew it was white.
Right.
And when I read certain things in the paper, I knew automatically that it was white.
Your mother wasn't taking out on you what your father did to you, like a mother may take out on a son now. So hold on. So the investment that mothers make in their daughters to make sure they're not victims of the same thing that they may have been victims of. No one is educating black men, because the people that are raising black men have been victims of a black man.
Well, let me tell you like this. I raised black men.
Well, let's get some other folk into the discussion.
I was just going to say I am a single mother. I mean, I have a beloved, and we are.
So you're not a single mother?
Well,
That's what I mean.
Okay,
right.
Okay. So I'm just recently in this relationship. Before I was in this relationship, I was a single mother, and for all of those things that you're talking about, and again, see, I think when we generalize,
but you generalized earlier because that's what we do.
And I said when we generalize, it's dangerous because then you will miss some of these exceptions. I happen to be one of those exceptions. I have very candid conversations with my 14-year-old son about how to deal with a woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's not coming from a perspective of who his father wasn't. As a matter of fact, I use who his father is. I reference that a lot when I'm talking to him because I know he's of those loins. And so whether or not, I made it a really big point. This was one of the biggest things. And I was hurt by the fact that the father abandoned me and all of that kind of stuff. But I healed that. I healed that because I didn't want to taint my son. I was very conscious of that. And I'm not the only one. I'm surrounded by a lot of sisters that think the way that I do. And we do teach our sons. You know, we teach our sons what that looks like. Because we want to shift the cycle. We recognize the same thing that you're saying. And so we make it a point to do it ourselves. We're not going to wait. We have the ability to do it. So
how did you get to that place of healing, to where you were bitter and angry, and now you're not?
Okay, so I went through that for 2 years. You know, he was everything under the sun that was not pure and good. And I'm on the peace and love movement now, but I always wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Southeast, so I got a little hood too. And it came out every now and again. But what I realized, this is what happened to me for real. I was so angry and so mad. It dawned on me one day when I saw my baby crying. I said, my son, if I'm upset with him for abandoning us, if I choose to keep being angry and bitter like this, he's not going to have either parent. Now, I could be physically there, but I can't really be the mother that I need to be if I'm so mad at the father, who I chose to have this child for, and who I love, even though he hurt me. And, you know, I made a conscious decision not to be under the illusion that you can fall in and out of love. Well, what you fall into? If you ever loved them, then you still love them. Now, the love might not show up the same way, right? But it's still love and it's constant. And so, going back to what I was saying about pushing that ego to the side and bringing love and compassion in, you know, because hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
And if I have that understanding, like the sister was saying, we was born through a womb that already been hurt. What Baba said, it's been years of this. So it ain't going to be no one pill.
That's right.
We got to really, really tap in. And we have to do that on within yourself and then let it be rippled. So real quick, as a result of that, the beloved that I'm with now and my son's father, my son just graduated from 8th grade, and his father came up after a long time of trying to cultivate this relationship and encouraging him like you have a son. Life ain't going to be right until you make this connection with your son. I ain't got to do nothing to you. No baby mama drama. The universe will take care of you. Nothing's going to go well because this is your assignment. He came up for the graduation, and when he got up and spoke, he could have said a whole bunch of stuff. Nobody had ever seen him. My son been at this school for 8 years. Nobody had ever seen his real father. He got up and acknowledged my beloved man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you because you was here when I wasn't. So you can't tell me that the work that I did after them 2 years of being so angry didn't catapult that healing for everybody in the situation. So when it comes to my son, I'm going to let him know this is what happened with your dad. This is how he handled it. It took him a while, but then he was able to stand up and be vulnerable in front of a group of people who had never knew anything about him, just based on the fact that he was never there.
And that's the
that he was able to stand in his power and acknowledge another man. So when people come to me and tell me that that can't exist and that we finished and it'll never work, you can't tell me that because my experience has been totally different and it started with my healing. I ain't boasting. I'm just saying that the work can be done if we committed to it.
I agree.
I have something to say to that. I agree, sis. It can be done. Alqamar, no, I push the illusion that co-parenting is impossible because I do it and we do it well. And so when I see people struggling, I come in with a little bit, probably a little naive, but definitely optimistic because I know it can be done and it can be done effectively and we could still raise whole children, even co-parenting with the community is very possible. But I also, when you talked about hurt people, we reference that a lot. And if we could for me, I started shifting the way I say that. Instead of hurt people, because it just sounds so defeat, like there's no hope, you can't do anything. Because hurt people. So what I heard from you is heal people.
That's right. That's the other side.
Heal people. And so when we're engaging with each other, that's the mindset and that's the tongue we have to have. Heal people. Because when you say that to yourself, you're saying, if I heal myself, then if someone who is hurt comes in my space, then there's only two options. They either cannot exist in this space or they have to come up to that level.
That's the reality.
Pretty much. So it's when I said, I mean, okay, they're either going to have to start making adjustments, and it's not even them. It's your energy.
That's right.
It's your energy, it's your aura, that healing that you carry within yourself, that person automatically begins to start to shift certain things because you're showing them something different. So when we talk about hurt people, we need to start saying, heal people too, though. Okay. It's not just hurt people, but heal people as well. So I just wanted to say that.
Can I just
real quick, and then we're going to go to her, so we're going to get more people in the conversation. I just want to say, I think that is the danger of pointing a finger. Because when the minute you point the finger and make the problem somebody else's issue, you're not in the position to heal people around you. You're looking to push that off on somebody else. I don't need to work. I don't need to heal. It's you. And so the healing never gets done. So in that perspective and in that perspective, you're doing internal work even if you're not the sole problem. That's right. But you have the energy to fix whatever the problem is, whether you did it or not. So that's the beauty of going within.
I have to leave y'all in a little bit, so I'm going to put in a little bit. Yeah, I know, in a little bit. But we talk about solutions. So one of the solutions, we talk about individual healing. That is very, very important. I also think that we are delusional to think that we can afford to love like everybody else, considering our condition in this country. I am big on that right now. I think that we have all these things. We go to work, okay, where we earn a wage. We get paid. We go in there, we shut our mouths, woman. We shut our mouths. When the boss says something, we shut up because we don't want to lose that paycheck. Why can't we apply the same thing in our relationship? Shut up. Shut up. We talk a lot as women, and I'm speaking to myself. These are solutions, guys. I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. We talk a lot. We are also emasculating our men because we are approaching them based on what they make. And if they don't make what we think they should make, we label them bums and we treat them as such. We automatically think that somebody from another race, if you listen to the conversation, we automatically assume if somebody is from another race, then they have more, or they're going to bring us out of something. Okay? We need to look at our black men as human beings. Society already dehumanizes them every single day, every moment, on the hour. They cannot afford to come home to us, black women, and be dehumanized as well. And when I say humanized, we have these expectations of black men that we don't have of other men.
Of yourself.
Thank you. And it's ridiculous. We need to humanize our men again. Again, I'm going to let the brothers speak as far as I'm only speaking as women, because I believe in women holding women accountable.
That's right.
Because the truth is, black men cannot hold us accountable because we don't want to hear them, because we don't respect them. That's the truth. That's right. A black man cannot correct a black woman today. Have y'all been on social media? Have y'all seen the conversations? So what does that mean?
And vice versa.
Agreed. So I believe in accountability. Black men have to hold black men accountable, and black women have to hold black women accountable. And then we could come together and hold each other accountable. That's the reality. But as a woman, as far as solutions, we need to treat our black. It's not enough to call them kings. It's not enough to celebrate their melanin. It's not enough. It's not enough to do it for the gram. It's not enough to do it for publicity purposes, but in the privacy of our own homes, in the privacy of our thoughts, where are they? Are they elevated in our minds? Are our mouths saying one thing and our actions saying another thing? Because that's what our black men are going by, what we do, how we treat them, how we make them feel. So as a woman, and again, this is not a space, when I start talking to other women, this is not a space to say, but men.
Right. Of course.
It's not a space to say, or a time to say, well, they're doing it. No. Somebody has to start. And we are busy waiting on each other to start. No, you start. You start first. You start first.
Get off the ego.
Get off the ego. So as far as solutions, woman, shut up. Shut up. Because our men are hurting, and the reason why you can't hear their pain is because your ego is too loud. Shut it down and listen and support and help them heal. Black men deserve healing too. Usually when we talk about healing, we talk about it around the feminine, around the woman. But where are the support groups for our men?
That's right.
Where are the resources for our men? Where are the women that's willing to endure with our men?
That's right.
You start with yourself as a woman. So that's just, I just wanted to kind of put that in there.
Thank you.
I just want to say, we are people of nature. Nature does not compete and cooperate.
That's it.
So in my household, if my husband has if he has $5 and I have $2, we have 7 together.
That's right.
We don't have a lot of money, but guess what? I know my husband like red salmon. And sometimes I say, I bought the red salmon that you like for your lunch. Just little things like that. We don't have a lot of money right now, but when he opens his underwear drawer, his underwear are full.
That's currency though, sis.
Yeah,
That's currency.
that's the stuff we do for each other.
Yeah.
Just little teeny things mean a whole lot.
That's right.
He likes certain shows. So guess what, y'all? When Dad come home, everybody upstairs. Because he wants to sit downstairs because it's a stressful job. Sometimes he don't want to see anybody. And I'll say, you feel like any company? And sometimes he wants, everybody to greet him at the door. But I just want to say this as far as solutions. Minister Farrakhan said something about not condemning people where they are. That's not our job. He talked about streams. They showed a polluted stream. It was filthy. But the sun shined on a stream because the stream kept running and it poured all the pollution and the poison out. If we would just shine on each other and be compassionate, when somebody's hurt and they broken and you hear, don't go back and talk about them or look at her, this and that, they bitter. No, I've been bitter. I was bitter as hell. And I thank God that I went through my process of being bitter, because now God is making me sweet. So embrace the process. That's all I want to say.
My sister, I want to add one thing to what you just said. I want to add one thing so that everybody walk away from here clear. Can't nobody else pain you. Those pains are inherent already within you. Only thing that another person can do is make you aware of the pain that's already in you that came from you through your mother's womb. If we would just understand that.
And I just like to, this is my solution. Number one, I don't claim any religion. I just consider myself spiritual, me and God. And for me, I just want to share this solution, which has helped me. I'm very secure in who I am, very confident in the woman that I am today, because I had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations. The woman you see today was not this woman 2 years ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. So I'm growing every day. But I think a possible solution would be to get connected with the Creator, however way you see fit. Don't let anyone define how you should connect with the Creator. Second of all, be authentic, because life is about choices. Every last one of us is unique. That means our choices for ourselves are going to be unique. And make sure that you are authentic in making those choices that you feel is best for you and yours. Don't let anybody tell you you should do this, do that. There's no right or wrong way to love. You just have to make the choices that you have received from the Creator and you want to implement in your life. So I think it's an individual thing. I'm all with the healing because healing helps you to move forward, but I'm also into being authentic, connected with the Creator, your unique way, make decisions, your unique decisions that's best for you without anybody else defining who you are and what you should be doing.
Good teaching, and I just want to piggyback on that authentic piece that you was sharing, because I think we don't realize that when we're in relationships and the more we lie and cheat and scheme and connive,
deception.
I don't think that we really realize that we ain't doing it but harming ourselves.
Yes.
You're bringing all that deception on yourself.
Yeah.
So you got to wait. You're carrying those burdens. You think you're getting away with something and being slick and slimy, but you carrying all those burdens that's just gonna come back on you tenfold in other ways, shapes, or form that make your life miserable. So being authentic, I think, is very important. Very.
It should be the first thing to dating. Truth at the front table.
Did anybody else want to share something?
A solution. I am actually going through a rites of passage right now called Ohimaku Queen Society. The Circle of Light is the group that's facilitating it. And the theme for the rites of passage is from birth to eldership, we continuously unfold. So from birth to eldership, we continuously unfold. So what that says to me is that this is a continuum. Like, we never really truly arrive if we still here. So no matter how long you think you've been working, whatever titles you have and things of that nature, it's always going to be something that you can improve upon and be a better person at. Now, the other thing that goes with that, so I was offering that to anybody who might be thinking of solutions, particularly our sisters that are interested in doing the healing work. There is a group that is facilitating it for us because we understand how powerful we are as women. And heal a woman, heal a nation. You understand? So we are doing the work. Anybody that may be interested, again, the name of the rites of passage is Ohimaku Queen Society, and it's through the Circle of Light Society. The other thing is there is a man and a woman, Manwasha, you know Manwasha. Okay, well, it's a husband and wife, and they are constantly doing podcasts like this and stuff like this. They have a book called Alqamar Day. I would encourage everyone who is interested in the whole creating a better union between black men and women to go and check them out. They have lots of solutions. And good, better, best, never let it rest into good is better and better is best. So you always can keep going. Those are my 3 solutions.
Yes. The good points, because the tools are out here. The tools are there. There are success stories out here, but we just don't tap into it. And I think it goes back to what my brother Ed always shares with me, is that we don't want to admit that we sick. Nobody wants to admit that we sick, but our relationships are in shambles. But so the tools are out here. We just have to have the wherewithal to go and get them. Look, I done been in 5 different relationships in 1 year. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right here with me. Let me figure it out. And if I don't know what to do, there's some people out here that done it successfully. Let me tap into their resources.
That goes back to that choices. You gotta want it.
Right. Yes.
I think that was part of what I was going to say, just kind of healing the brokenness. And as far as solutions go, I know in the black community we don't talk about it a lot, but counseling. Mm-hmm. Okay? You figure just, having to deal with 400 years of anything is going to create not just generational curses, but generational illnesses, generational bad habits, generational hurts, generational wounds, generational healing as well. So those are the things we need to address in counseling, any way, shape, or form. There are a lot of resources out there. I know one sister in particular, her counseling services, Diversified Lifestyle Services, in Oxon Hill area. They do a lot of different events where they offer counseling, brief counseling sessions. And they also had one thing where they did, I think I mentioned this when we watched the movie Wolf, called a genogram, where you do a family tree, right? And you go through your family tree, and any illnesses, any issues that anyone has had throughout that family tree, married, divorced, so on and so forth, if someone's divorced, instead of a straight line, it's a broken line, and you acknowledge each of those things within the family tree, and till you get to you, which at that point you get to you, once you going through all these different things, like let's say, oh, Auntie so-and-so was always running around and this, that, and the third. No, Auntie so-and-so might have had anxiety issues. And then when you go back further in the family tree, you probably find out the anxiety issues were from some sort of hurts or some sort of, molestation or whatever, and those hurts, those anxieties, that depression, those things get carried on, so we have to address those things. And when you really put a name to something, you know what I mean? You have to put a name to something. You can't, like when they talk about praying, you can't be general. You have to put a name to it. So it's be very specific so you're able to heal. Because if you generalize, you're not going to be able to heal from that thing. I could go on, but I just want to give other people an opportunity.
Brother Ed?
We talk about solutions. I think that it's a sister named Shahrazad Ali, and she wrote 2 books, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man and The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. And I think that if we serious about healing what we're going through as black people, we should take steps to form study circles and look at and deal with the real problems that exist among us, which is white supremacy. We don't have rites of passage rituals in our community that determine and make you a man. And the black community in the hood would make you a man. You got locked up and you ain't tell on nobody. You're a cold-blooded man.
And that's a rite of passage.
Right, but there's no moral component to make you how to treat women, how you interact with black people. Locked up, they had a group called the Melanics, and they said they followed the teachings of Nat Turner. And sin was something when you did something against black people. That was the only sin that there was. If it was against black people, it was a sin. And that's a game changer if you think like that, though.
Malik?
Okay, we got 2 minutes left. So if anybody who hasn't had an opportunity to share, wanted to share before we go to the barber? Yes.
Just quickly, I guess what I was just thinking was part of a solution is to, when we're dating, is to have these type of conversations, because I think we're kind of like scared to even bring certain things out because we're just afraid of what will happen within the relationship that we're quote unquote trying to create together. So I think, and this is just just came to me just now because I'm not one that really likes to talk too much, because I'm just quiet and just don't know really like how to express so much. But just have the conversation. I mean, because that will basically try to help where the relationships can start off to become something that's great instead of an issue or something that's bad, and then it's like, oh, I hate him, or I can't stand, she talk too much, or he, because men are closed in, they don't talk either, so sometimes it's hard to even pull out certain things, but bring up conversations in those type of situations.
Okay. If nobody else had anything to share, we'll let Baba get the last word in.
I just wanted to say that if I can find it, I got a study that came out in the International Times magazine that showed, it don't come out here in America now, but it came out in Israel where I live, that everything that happened to us as a people is formulated in the 9 months in your mother's womb.
Okay. Well, family, I just want to go through a couple of more of these stats real quick for anybody else out there that may be interested. 40% of people since the year 2010 have a spouse of a different religion than their own. 40% of all marriages included one or more persons who were married before. So divorce is, of course, we know, on the rise. 88% of all couples cited love as the reason for getting married, followed by making a lifelong commitment, and then companionship. Financial stability came in next to the last place at 28% of people. Cohabitation is on the rise, up 29% since 2007. I'm sure it's increased a lot more since then. 30% of teens report abuse in relationships, which we didn't even get into at all. Here's some fun facts. It's harder, they say, to start a relationship in a big city. It's easier for people to settle down and get connected if they're not in a big city. 86% of men prefer to pay the bills. 50% of women said they preferred the man to pay. 59% think online dating is a good way to meet people. And lastly, men and women both say in high numbers that they want honesty in a relationship. There you have it, family. That has been our Empower Hour 2-hour special. We went a little over time because we started late, so we kind of had a few people that had to leave. But I want to thank all the panelists for coming out and sharing your points of view and your perspectives, and I'm sure that those watching has gained insight some way, shape, or form. And we ask you that if you have, please share the information with others out there. The goal is to get the information out to as many people as humanly possible so we can all participate in coming together and helping to heal our unions. Until next week, family, take care of each other out there. Peace.